Today I've got some great questions, and the main question is on timepieces and timing cooking in your 18th century recipes. Thanks for joining us today on Questions and Answers with James Townsend and Son. This first question is on a portable soup episode, and it's Adrian Ivashkov. Hopefully I got that right. Say I kept these, the portable soup pieces, in an Altoids tin or an 18th century equivalent. I had two questions. How long can I expect to keep it? And should I put anything in the box with them? A cloth, a desiccator pouch, what kind of textile if I put cloth in? How long will it keep? The portable soup should be able to keep a long time as long as you keep it dry and cool. I would expect it to last years in that circumstance if you keep it dry and if you keep it cool. Again, should I put anything in the box? You can wrap them in paper or a little bit of cloth would be fine. What's going to happen is if it gets damp, or especially if it gets very, very warm, it will start to get soft and it will stick to your container. So that's why paper is probably the best thing. It will get hard to get and you can peel it off of that, sort of like a wax paper. So that's what I would suggest. If you want to keep moisture out of there and the box seals really well, a desiccator pouch will work fine if you want to put that in there to help keep it dry. The next question is on the apple fritters episode, and it's William Logue. He says, "Hello from Canada, I love your channel, and just a quick question. If you're going to pan fry these in butter, how come you have to clarify the butter first? Thanks and keep up the great work." So yes, you definitely want to clarify your butter if you're going to deep fry like this. The milk solids in your butter, and that's when you're clarifying it, you're getting those milk solids out of there. That's what causes the burning and the browning of things that you fry in butter. And in this kind of circumstance, you don't want that to happen. You want just the oils in the butter, not any of that other stuff. So any kind of deep frying in butter, make sure to clarify it first. On the rendering suet episode, Rebecca Doyle says, "Have you ever thought of using bird feeder suet? It says 100% naturally rendered suet on the package." Well, it's maybe 100% naturally rendered suet, but it is not meant for human consumption, so I definitely would not suggest it. It can be made from rancid, old stuff, definitely not safe for eating. On the latest Q&A, Neil N11 asks a good question. He says, "How do you clean your pudding cloths? I know it seems like a silly question, but I'm curious about what detergents you use." Pudding cloths are, it's a really good question. If you've ever done one of these boiled puddings, the pudding cloth, as it comes off of the pudding, is coated. It's completely saturated with this suet, which is a lot like wax. And it can be difficult to get this pudding cloth clean. It was difficult to get that pudding cloth clean in the 18th century. Some of the recipes say, make sure that your pudding cloth isn't soapy. So we know that they had trouble getting it clean, and when they did get it clean, they might have still had soap in that. I would use a regular detergent for it. You could possibly get some of that suet off there firsthand by having a clean pot of very hot water or boiling water. You dip that in, you're going to get rid of some of that. Although, again, if you're doing a boiled pudding and you've got this water with a bunch of suet in it, make sure you do not pour it down your drain or it will solidify in your drain and plug it up in an instant. So you definitely don't want to do that. Throw it outside or get rid of it some way, not down the drain. But your pudding cloth, you're going to have to definitely use a good strong detergent and make sure you rinse it really, really well when you use it again. As something to try would be, especially if you're in a period context, would try to make a strong solution with wood ashes and wash it in that. And the suet and the wood ashes will get together and make a soap in of themselves. They will make a soft soap right there together. Here's another one on that latest Q&A. Connor Tipton has an interesting question. He says, if you've bought a certain uniform or made your own and you are going to a reenactment, let me shorten this up a little bit. He says, can you wear that uniform without actually being in the regiment that had those uniforms. So what he's talking about is going to an event if he has an outfit to wear, and is it okay to wear that outfit? And it really depends on the event. And most events have no problem if you go as a member of the public and you're wearing a uniform. That's going to be okay with them. But you can't necessarily participate in the same way. If they're having a battle reenactment or whatever, you really need to be part of a unit that's in with that. That's going to that event. If you have a question about that, you should talk to the individual event coordinators or the people who are putting on the event about participating. But if you're going just as a member of the public and you want to wear a uniform, I don't think it's usually going to be a problem at all. Here's another good question. It's from the turkey episode, and it's Luke Osborne. He says, how would a long hunter season his cast iron? And it's sort of a trick question because long hunters, and I'm guessing you're thinking a long hunter who's out camping, is most likely not going to have any cast iron. Most of those long hunters were going out into the field with very little equipment, very little cooking equipment. And cast iron is definitely not on the list of something that somebody would carry in the field if they had a choice. Way too heavy. He would have had possibly a very light tin camp kettle or one of the brass trade kettles, something much lighter to cook his food in. And he would have had very simple needs and very simple foods as he was cooking out on the trail. So he wouldn't have had cast iron that he needed to worry about seasoning in the first place. Seasoning cast iron, we got a great episode on that. I'll make sure to put a link down in the description section. Here's the main question, and it's from one of the boiled pudding episodes. High Voltage Rose. She says, this may be a stupid question, but how did they keep track of time? Did every family have a clock? Were they even invented during this time? Okay, it's a really good question. Timepieces in the 18th century in general, they definitely, more well-to-do people had clocks. And definitely they had pocket watches. Pocket watches were a status symbol. It's sort of like the iPhone of the 18th century. Some people would even have 2 or 3 watches to show off their wealth. But standard people in a kitchen probably didn't need timepieces to any great extent. The recipes weren't terribly precise about time. Sometimes they did not mention time at all. A good cook uses their nose and their eyes to see whether something is done or not many times. And since their cooking equipment wasn't as precise as ours, they definitely were not cooking in ovens that they could set a particular temperature on. The times were all over the place. It takes 2 or 3 hours, or it takes 30 minutes to an hour. So they would definitely use their senses to guess when something was right and not have to work specifically to a kitchen timer or to a clock. It's Christmas time, and I know if you're like me, you have a difficult time coming up with gift ideas. We do have a few little things that make it really easy for gifts here at James Townsend & Son. We do have the DVD set of cooking episodes. You can see all these on YouTube, but many people they're scared to use YouTube or they don't have a good internet connection. So we do have this whole set of DVDs available. If you want to share the cooking videos with other folks, this is a great way to do it. And another thing that everyone needs is a tomahawk. We have these very inexpensive and great sturdy hand-forged tomahawks. If you need something in that kind of $22 price range, these tomahawks are great. And something that goes along with cooking, we've got these great little spice boxes. If you're going camping and you want to, take spices along with you, these little tin boxes hold the little spice kit together. A wonderful and very inexpensive gift for folks. I'll make sure to put a link down in the description section of this video so you can check out all these products. And I really want to thank everyone out there for your great and encouraging comments and your wonderful questions. That really helps us get an idea about what people are interested in. So thank you so much for all your great comments. And I want to thank everyone out there for watching. If you're a new viewer and you haven't subscribed, press the subscribe button up here. That'll take you to a spot where you can subscribe. That really is the best way to get notification of all the new videos that are out. I want to thank everyone for watching.